So on a personal level, I'm a husband and a father, first and foremost. That's my role. And I would say, I've been married, I've been very fortunate. I've been married for 15 years and have been married to someone who has literally supported me in every single thing that I've done, as crazy as some of them have seemed at the time. And I would say that most of what I do when I get up in the morning, whether it's from going to the gym or my commitment to my business and what I'm trying to build here, it's a product of me trying to build a legacy. And not a legacy in terms of money or acquiring things, but more in a legacy of making sure that the people that are around me and that are close to me and that I come into contact with look back and say, you know what, he gave me an example of something that showed that you didn't have to be limited by anything, that you really could achieve whatever you wanted to, and your only limits were based on what your dreams were, and dream big. Yeah, so most people are very surprised when I tell them that I began my career in real estate in 2007. I got my license in late 2005 and started full-time in 2007. And that period of time between 2007 and 2009 were arguably some of the most challenging times that we had in the country when it came to not only real estate but the economy in general. And so when I look back on that, I was very fortunate. I did that by design. I kind of had already recognized that things were definitely changing, and that was the time that I decided to get into the market, just because I knew when things get really difficult, then there's typically a lot of opportunity in those scenarios. And in fact, because the industry was going through so much change at that time, it allowed me to break in and learn the business from a new perspective that a lot of the people that had already been in the business, they didn't have. So I learned from the beginning how to do business in what the new way was going to be. So I didn't have any bad habits to break. I put a lot of time and effort into learning this business in the beginning, trying to get as much knowledge and information as possible to shorten the learning curve. And one of the things I focused on from the very beginning was my business goals have always been focused on helping more people. So my coach told me early on that focus on the people and focus on trying to help as many of the consumers as you can, and the rest will fall in place. So I've never had an income goal in this business. My goal has always been focused on how many people can I help. And I've been very fortunate. Every year, year over year, I've grown my business anywhere from 15 to 20% in some of the toughest years in this industry, where a lot of people ended up going out of business. I've been fortunate to focus on the things that grew my business. And I saw firsthand, even before I got into this business, the impact that unskilled agents can have on the consumer. And I recognized early on that was going to be my mission, was to talk to as many people as possible and give them the opportunity to work with me. And while I know not every single person is going to choose to work with me, I want to give them the opportunity, and I think that they should. He said that these three things were going to determine whether or not you could have a meaningful relationship with someone that you're working with. And the first was the question, can I trust you? And over the last several years, the trust factor in the confidence that the consumer has in our industry has really been impacted because of the actions of a small minority within the industry. And so now trust and integrity have become paramount. It's the number one thing. And so your client and the people that you're working with on a daily basis, you don't even have to pretend. They can feel it if they don't feel like you're on their side and that you're working for them and that they can trust you. So the next thing that's important to people is the question of whether or not you're committed to excellence. And this is interesting because I don't think most people really look at this and think about this as much as they probably should. So when I think of my clients and what they're asking me to do, they want the best of the best. in order to do the job, and that's what they're looking for when they hire me. But most of the time they never ask, or they never seem to wonder about, what's going on with this guy in the rest of his life. Do they know that I'm as committed to my personal life and growing and becoming the best that I can be in those areas as I am in the business? Because frankly, I can't be the best agent that I can be for them if my home life is in shambles, or if I'm not taking care of my health and my body. Then how can I actually be doing what I say that I'm doing in the business? Because typically people aren't doing one and then letting everything else go. It doesn't work like that. And so I think that being committed to results and excellence in every part of your life is critical. And a lot of times the performance in one reflects the performance in the other. And finally, I think that people want to know that you actually care. So while I may sell 200 properties a year and deal with 200 plus clients over the period of 12 months, the reality is, for some of my clients, this may be the only real estate transaction that they do. So I can't let it become routine. It can't become mundane, because what I do on a daily basis is something that some people might only do once every 10, 15, 20 years, and I've had clients that have only done it once or twice in an entire lifetime. So it's important that they know that they don't just become someone that's another transaction, and that they are a part of what I'm trying to do that's something bigger and not just sell real estate. So I guess this is the new way of doing business, and it's not the information age anymore, it's the trust age. And I think that's good. It's good for the consumer, and it's good for those of us that have adapted. And I can tell you this, it's widening the gap between those who are actually doing this for the right reasons and because they care about helping people, and those that are in it just for a check and just in it for themselves.